Hello learners, welcome to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. Let us discuss our unit 2 from the paper Fundamentals of Sociology, and this unit we are going to talk about definition, nature and scope of sociology, and we will also discuss the relationship of sociology with other social sciences. So when we try to understand about the understanding of human societies, understanding of man and his interaction with others, we will come across that human behavior is always shaped by two very important forces. What are they? The physical forces or the natural environment, and the social forces, which includes our relationships, norms, values, traditions, institutions, etc. So humans have for a very long time tried to understand and always made an attempt to understand both natural sciences and also social sciences and its interaction with each other. So in natural sciences our focus is to understand the physical phenomena, what are the factors influencing the physical phenomena, whereas in social sciences we try to understand the social dimensions. So disciplines like history, political science or economics, they study the different aspects of society, but sociology as a discipline is the one which studies society in its holistic dimension, and that is what contributed in the emergence of sociology. So now let us try to understand what is the basic concept of sociology. So whenever we try to focus on this, we can always break it into two words, socius and logos. Socius basically means a companion or a association, and how an individual is interacting in the context of the association, and logos means study. Therefore, sociology is study of society. It is a systematic understanding of the society, and sociology aims to discover, describe and explain the different patterns of social life by using multiple approaches, whether it is at micro level or at macro level. Micro level includes our simple day to day interactions, whereas macro level can influence or it can include the larger structures which influence our behavior, and it uses multiple methods, quantitative methods, qualitative methods, and it covers social problems, institutions, culture, collective behavior, etc. Now there are multiple definitions of sociology, my dear friends. If you scan the literature, you will come across hundreds of definitions, but I am very particular and very interested to discuss with you two very important definitions given by Emile Durkheim and Max Weber. We all know that Auguste Comte is called as father of sociology, but it was Emile Durkheim who is considered as the first academic sociologist, and he tries to define sociology as study of collective representations. For example, like society will not represent what I as an individual, I Vinita, what I think about society, that is not very important in understanding sociological studies. What you think as an individual about society might not be very important, but collectively how are we representing our society, how are we representing our social reality, that is what matters, and that is what Emile Durkheim tries to tell us, that sociology is study of collective representations. Another very interesting definition is by Max Weber. Max Weber says that sociology is the interpretative understanding of social action. So social action here means what? Any activity which is taking place in a social context. So how are you understanding that social action? What meaning are you giving to that social action? That is what is studied by society. So beautiful definitions. Of course, you should also explore the other definitions by given by other philosophers as well. So the core themes what we focus in sociology, it includes social interaction, social relationships, group life, group collective life, how are we sustaining in the groups, how social order is maintained in the groups, how humans are able to survive and create a social order for themselves, and how humans cannot exist if there is no meaningful interaction. Now let us try to understand about nature of sociology. So whenever we talk about nature of sociology, we are trying to understand whether sociology is a science or it is not a science. So now you might wonder here, why are we so obsessed to call sociology as a science? Even if it is not a science, what is the problem? Actually, there is no problem. But when we are in a position to say that sociology is a science, we are able to very confidently say that yes, it has a mechanism to understand society in a very, very empirical manner. So coming back to science, science is a systematic body of knowledge, systematic way of understanding anything, and that way sociology can definitely be called as a science, because sociology also has a organized and verified knowledge like sciences. It uses systematic scientific methods like sciences, and it is also concerned with understanding social reality in terms of cause and effect in a scientific manner. So sociology as a science, what are the important dimensions which we can cover? It talks about cause and effect relationships, it talks about using scientific methods, it talks about collection and scientific analysis of data to formulate general laws and principles, which comes under generalization, and also establish very clearly, very clearly, what is causing certain thing and what will be its impact, and most significantly trying to establish or trying to bring out a solution to a particular problem. So sociology as a science has a scientific nature because we are able to observe social behavior, we are able to observe individual behavior in a scientific manner. Now many people say that if you are calling sociology as a science, where is the lab? So we counter them by saying that if you can call astronomy as a science, astronomy, to study astronomy, you are not bringing sun, moon, stars to the lab, you are studying where they are. Similarly, we as students of sociology, we also try to study society where it is. But of course, we should also accept that there are certain limitations of sociology as a science, because 100% laboratory experiments are not possible in sociology, and it is difficult to measure our emotions, our values and sentiments. Everything cannot be quantified, especially in terms of values and emotions. There can be data limitations also in terms of subjectivity, and social reality is very dynamic. It keeps on changing constantly, and that is why you cannot measure it precisely, and making predictions also is a big challenge. So when you try to summarize what is nature of sociology, of course we can say it is a social science, a science where we are in a position to generalize. It is an abstract science, positive, empirical and rational science, and it has both theoretical as well as applied aspects of it. And sociology as a science is definitely talking about knowledge about society.